Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here. Hope you guys are doing well out there. I know a lot of you guys are experiencing some real crappy weather, and some of you guys are having some tornadoes going on. My heart goes out to you guys. Hope you guys are safe and doing well under the circumstances. Weather out here has been kind of like in the 80s for the past like 3 or 4 days, and then next thing you know, like today, it's dropped down to like 57 degrees. Yeah, it's crazy. It's supposed to be like this all week. Anyways, working on the Bad Cat Zebra Stripe kick guitar. I've got the last, well, when the weather was nice outside, I got the last of the clear coat on, at least so I thought. I have one little problem that I have to correct, and it requires sanding the whole face of the body. Not so much the neck, the back, the sides, just the face. Kind of one of those things when you start noticing that you're in a rush to get something done, you're going to screw up. So what I'm doing right now is I have a paint mixing cup with water and alcohol. It's more alcohol than it is water, with a few drops of dishwashing soap inside, or not dishwasher soap, dishwashing. There's a difference. Dishwasher, it's a machine. This is the liquid that you would use for basically scrubbing pots and pans or however you do dishes. Now, what I'm doing with this is I got 1500, 2000, and 3000 grit sandpaper inside there right now. I've already went over the neck with the 15 and the 2000. Now I'm going to hit it after the sandpaper soaks with the 3000 grit. And what I'm going to end up doing is hand polishing this neck. You all seen how I've hand polished the bodies of guitars and finishes before. It can be done without having to use a machine. Just a little bit of elbow grease. So what happens if you get water or the alcohol mix in the grooves of the frets? Well, with the soap inside of it, it's kind of acting as like a bubble. As you go over the frets or the fretboard, it wants to kind of bubble over the fret slot. And if any does go inside there, well, there's alcohol in there. Alcohol evaporates. Not as fast as straight alcohol, but it will evaporate. And if it doesn't, well, I just kind of go over it with this in each slot to get the water out of it. So the body of this guitar, it's got some orange peel on it, and it's not bad. I mean, considering coming from a spray can, okay, this is pretty nice. If it was a gun, a spray gun, well, I have control over airflow, and I'll have control over the paint that's actually coming out of the gun with little controls that are on the handle or the top of the gun itself. But yeah, this is a rattle can. Don't have that luxury. So the body came out pretty good. Headstock came out really nice. Back of the headstock came out really good. And the back. The only thing I have here is I have a little bit of a paint sag, clear sag over here, which will come out with the sanding, no problems at all. The sides came out really nice. I am going to wet sand the whole body, and I'm going to end up doing a polishing job on it. Probably use the small buffer than rather doing it by hand. But like I said, you guys have seen how I could polish this stuff up by hand in previous videos. And it does work. It can be done. Now, the problem with this is that not the orange peel, and it's not the clear itself. Well, it's this spot right here. If you can see that, it's a lighter spot. Yeah, I could leave that, but I don't like it. What happened, or what I think happened, is when I ended up wet sanding the top of the body to level sand the clear, and I went through the clear and went through the sanding sealer and ended up going through a little bit of the pigment, the dye that is on the body. So that's my screw up for rushing it. I was going a little bit too fast, and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So let's start getting back to this fretboard and getting it polished up, because I am going to start putting frets on this thing. So I've got my 3000 grit, and I'm not just going to go over it by hand. I am going to block it, so I am going to wrap it around this little pencil eraser. I squeeze most of the water out of it, not all of it, but most of it, so it's not going to build up heavily on the fretboard. I'm just going to go over this a few times nice and smooth. I am following the radius of the neck, and I am consistent with moving up and down the neck evenly. The reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to have any waves in the fretboard at all. I want this to be nice and flat, just like the body would be. Now, how do you tell if the sandpaper is doing anything or not? Well, if I move the body a little bit and you see the lights, you get a reflection. Sandpaper is doing something. Even though it doesn't look like it is, this is actually ready to be polished.